Hey guys, this is Jacolia of Jacolia Gems. Thank you for once again coming back to view my channel. If you are new here, welcome and thank you so much. If you are returning, hey y'all, thanks for the support. If you have not already done so, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for those of you that have subscribed. Those of you that have not subscribed yet, but you keep on liking the videos and comment. And guys, if you are subscribed and if you are viewing the videos, please do me a favor and hit the like button. That definitely helps me out in the algorithm. And we all know that we can all use as much help as we could get. Also, turn on the post notifications as well as share this video to your social media platforms, to your text messages, to your group chat so that we can get this conversation up and running. Also, if there are any podcasts out there that you guys frequent, you guys watch, see snippets of, feel free to send some snippets to me on Instagram, as some of you already do, and thank you for that, as well as on TikTok. So I can have some reaction videos and to create some more content from a Hebraic and holistic standpoint. I try to be as unbiased as possible. Now, with that being said, today's video is going to talk about the fact that a lot, some, we gonna say some and a lot of Black women feel as if that Black men are not qualified for them and all of the goodness, darling, that the Black man has now become beneath them. So what I am going to do is lay out some premises as to why some women feel this way. I'm going to quote them and things that I have heard on social media, not from any of my friend circle. I choose to congregate, so have you, with women of a mature mindset, women that are either my age or older, and the ones that are younger than me don't think a certain type of way. So I'm going to definitely repeat some narratives that I've heard from women that I don't really hang with in that instance, as well as begin to talk about some concerns and things that Black men have began to vocalize to me personally, as well as online, on my social media, even different clips that I see on podcasts, so on and so forth. So let's get into it, you guys. Now we know, and I'm getting to statistics. If you guys know me, if you have not been here before, I love to bring things to a bridge from the mindset of a woman, mindset of a man, and begin to explain what each side means, because for some reason the frequency between the man and a woman of communication is off. I love to bring in numbers, statistic, articles, books, videos, sources, all of that. I do not like to speak unless I have something to say, unless I'm actually feeding people and building up our community. So if you're looking for something salacious, I may say something every blue moon, but it's not purposely salacious. This is just how I am. I am here to educate, though, above anything else. So a lot of Black women, and I'm going to show the statistics, believe that because they have become the highest degree as well as the highest in entrepreneurship, that Black men are no longer qualified to date, court, and or marry them, to lead them. Some Black women, and if I don't say some or a lot, you guys already put that disclaimer out. Some Black women feel as if they out earn a man, then they are that man's equal, or that man is not deemed a provider. Some of these women feel as if because they have a six-figure income and or a degree, that then they now qualify for a man that makes six figures and or has a degree. And I know on paper this sounds good, but we have to deal with the reality of how things operate. And this is why I'm going to make a video and upload it today about the standards of a man versus the standards of a woman, and how women have now co opted the standards of a man for what it is they think a good woman is. Whew. Okay. With that being said, there are some men, or a lot of men, who feel as if the middle class, upper middle class of Black men are being overlooked and taken for granted by Black women. And I can't say that I disagree. Honestly, the numbers actually agree with this premise. When we begin to look at the fact that Black women, and I'm going to open up my tab, so if I'm looking away, my camera's right here, computer's right here, that Black women have become very highly educated, as we should. I mean, being a smart people, right? But let's look at the income. We're going to get into some numbers and some things while I talk to you guys. And I'm going to put this on the screen in totality so maybe you guys can see it a little better. So when this says the percentage or the median household income, this is just for the Black man, basically, right? And so we're going to focus on the blue, and you guys can possibly see in the gray. I'm actually going to link this website down below in the description. I'm going to use this website on a few other of my videos as well. So for Black men on average, they are earning $43,862. Okay. And so the median family income would be $54,938. I'm just round up. But a married couple would be approximately $82,000 a year. So if that's split down the middle, that's like $40,000 a year per man, per woman, right? But when we look into single women head of household income, on average, the single Black woman is making $35,000 a year in comparison to her Black male counterpart, who out earns her approximately $12,000 a year. That doesn't make any sense to me based off of what it is that we have said. Although incomes for African Americans have improved significantly since the civil rights era, they are still lower than the national average. For example, the median income for Black families is $20,000 less than the national median income. It will behoove us to get married as Black men and Black women. That's the only way that we will substantiate and regain generational, not even wealth, just sustainability, so that we can get into wealth. Black married couple families make more than twice that of the female household families. You don't say, but Black women feel as if they out earn Black men, so they don't need Black men to restore them because they can do quote unquote bad all by themselves, or because a lot of some Black women are starting to make $80,000 upward on average a year. And we're going to get into the hows and the whys of that, and if that is something that can continuously be sustained. Okay. Black household income, okay, Lyndon B. Johnson, all the way up to Trump. Now we see in the blue and in the black, this is how our economy and the Black community was being gauged. And what you see right here in the light gray is in comparison to all other nationality, races, okay, and ethnicities. So now this is something I will definitely get into in depth one day, as into the highs and why, the hows, excuse me, and whys of when we see these risings and these fallings, and what presidents were in rule. Well, that's what it is at this time. Oh, I didn't do that on purpose, but okay. So we see right here under Ronald Reagan, the Reagan administration, and this is why a lot of Black people felt as if Bill Clinton was the first Black president, because of the amount of monies and increases that the Black family unit saw when Clinton was in power. And I keep saying in power, but it's for a reason. It's because that's what it is. Now, when we look at employment, because these Black men are so underqualified, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't work, they don't take care of their kids, they're unemployed at a high rate. Let's get into this before we get into the employment aspect. Okay, come back on the screen and talk to you guys. Now, I was raised by a Black father. Okay, and he was in management ever since he started working, age of 16. I know he had, I believe, a Little Caesars. He had a Pizza Hut. He was the manager of these stores. He got blackballed. And when I was 9 months old, my mother ended up having to go back to work sooner than she expected. She had me. Then she ended up having to have a hysterectomy from being diagnosed with cervical cancer. My father was blackballed the first 9 months of my parents' marriage. So according to a lot of you women, my mother should have left my father because he wasn't able to find work for 9 months. And they switched off, and she was always a working woman, but she went back to work sooner than she was supposed to because her family had a need. But my father already was a provider. Nowhere in their marriage at that time, based off of what I saw growing up, even though I have no recollection of being 9 months old, but just how I saw my parents move with one another, and even the testimonies of my father and of my mother privately and publicly, the headship and the authority and the provider and the protector that my father was and is never shifted in dynamic because he was unable to find work. I agree with Chris Rock to a certain extent, if not just about majority of the extent, when he says something along the lines that the Black man is only loved based off of what it is that he can provide and what it is that he can sustain. And it is so true because the broken mindset of some women begin to emasculate a man and chop him off at his very loins if he happens to hit a hard pocket, if he happens to lose it all, if he gets depressed, if he struggles. I will also link down below one of my videos on depression in Black men, as well as my interview of me interviewing my father, so that he can give you guys some insight as an elder Black man who was married to a woman for 36 years and they raised 3 girls together. When the Black man is only deduced based off of his pocket, and then his pocket begins to be overlooked, you will be able to expect some type of traumatic response to this. And me personally, I believe that Black men marrying and going outside of their race is a trauma response in so many ways. Just like I believe that people of other races and other ethnicities have fetishes for Black women. They will go for Black women so that they can look like the knight in shining armor, so that they can begin to look at us as they did Sarah Bartman and parade us around, because a lot of Black women have full lips, have voluptuous breasts and small waist and big behinds, or they're tall and slender and we come in all shapes and sizes. And so we are fantasized about by just about everyone. But when a Black man has a traumatic response against us, we begin to throw him away. We gonna talk about it. So let's look at the employment rate. Let's get back to the employment, because it's very, very, we must realize, and where I was going with the management, my father reared us on how to interview for jobs. But he also talked to us about the fact that he grew a beard and grew a mustache. And as a Black man in the 80s and in the 90s and in the 70s, and even right now, we see that Black hair is not beautiful to all. So we have to realize that the fact that it is hard to find a job and career in this economy overall, being Black works against you. Being a Black man works against you even more. And the Black man, you have to shave. You can't have dreadlocks. You can't wear braids. You cannot look like an ethic Black man a lot of times and get hired on these jobs. African American employment, 66% of Black men are employed, 6% unemployed, 27%. And so these numbers aren't too far off. About 70% of Black women are employed. Yeah, these numbers are just percentages apart. And so 73% of Black men ages 25 to 64 were in the labor force. 25 to 64. Truth be told, a lot of women in their 30s and 40s, this is your dating range. This is your dating range. I've seen it. I have seen it. I know women my age who are with young men in their 20s. I know women my age who are with old men in their 50s and in their 60s. 73% of these men are employed. And this statistic was taken in 2017. Okay. So let's see what type of employment do these men normally go for. And so, service management, things of that nature. A lot of times, a lot of jobs that these Black men have and sustain are in degree areas that women do not find appealing. A lot of women believe that the good guy and the smart guy is boring. He's too safe. He's in management and business and has financial occupations. He works in computer and science and engineering. This is what these men do for a living. But truth be told, a lot of Black women, although degreed, are not smart and educated on a day-to-day basis, because outside of their degrees, they do not read books. They do not read articles. I stand out like a sore thumb because of the way that I read and I deduce information in comparison to women with degrees. And I'm not knocking degrees. I'm going back to get mine. I can live without it though. So let's get into this, okay? Black women have become the highest in entrepreneurs. I am a Black female entrepreneur. I have been off and on for some years, right? And so a lot of Black women have home businesses, or they are hairdressers and nail techs. These are the ones, makeup artists. Hairdressers, nail techs, makeup artists are three top turning Black female, earning Black female entrepreneur that I know of, right? And clearly, we love to get our nails done, we love to get our makeup done, and we love to have our hair done. These are ways that Black women have been able to profit, and rapidly so. A lot of women can take one client and pay up half a mortgage. You get 2 or 3 heads a day and you racking up. And so these women, because I'm just speaking off of an interaction that I've had with a woman in the comments about a week and a half ago about this very topic. One of the feminine pages that I follow on Instagram, and yes, I follow feminine pages on Instagram, the person began to post and ask, okay, would you choose A, an engineer student? Would you choose B, an engineer student who was graduating? Or would you choose C, an entry level engineer, or D, none of the above? So majority of the women said none of the above. Me, I made a comment and I said C, because an engineer starts off making anywhere between, I believe, $58,000 to $72,000 a year. And this is the reason why a lot of Black men feel thrown to the side, because they make enough money to take care of themselves as well as sustain a household, of course, with some help from his wife if need be. Because what we have to realize is that a lot of these men that's making this amount of money on their jobs are also investing. They also have stocks, they also have bonds, and they too are entrepreneurs. They have their money set aside making money. They are not out here spending and doing certain things, spending $200 on nails or $500 on wigs. And y'all get what I'm saying, right? So this woman who's a hairdresser, she said, oh no, see, I pull in more than 6 figures and a man gonna have to come with that. And I said, well, that's cool. That's you. I get it. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, a lot of y'all are being very unrealistic. So when we look at Black-owned businesses with no employees, Black-owned businesses with no employees in the United States increased 19.2% between 2012 and 2017, right? And so no employees, you are sole proprietor or partnership with no employees. And this is a huge amount. But let's look at the fact. The fact of the matter is that most Black owned businesses are not hiring other Black people. You make enough to sustain your household. You make enough to sustain your income. And the fact that we are in a recession, people can go without makeup, people can go without nails, people can go without hair. And this is not just to beauty industry, right? We see that when you look into the medical industry, which a lot of women work in the medical industry. I have a medical industry background. It's an amazing industry to be a part of. And when we begin to look at that, we will begin to be able to see that Black women do have a lot of degrees now, master's degrees and bachelor's degrees. But we also have to realize that Black men go to school too. That Black men are professionals too. But unfortunately, a lot of Black men are in prison. This demographic is jarring. This is very jarring. But we've had a 89% change. Look, these numbers have increased. Amazingly so. For the associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree. We're high up, doctoral degree. With these degrees, guys, also comes debts. And that's one thing that a lot of Black women do not take into consideration, is that a lot of Black men are very, very logical in how they view things. So if we see that the great majority of Black men are employed and they are working, they're just working jobs that you deem boring and that you deem safe. And because they are not making $100,000 a year, even though some of them do you qualify for that? What Black men really have been trying to stress to us, and I know some of you are going to be real mad about me saying this, is the fact that the delusion of Black women have led them to believe making a certain amount of money qualifies them for the type of man they want. Now, realizing the type of man that you want is not necessarily the type of man that wants you. And just because you lead with this money does not mean that your money is going to get you wifed. And let's just be clear. Look at these numbers right here. The Black man is still out earning you. About $97. Still out earning you. But what he makes isn't enough. Because he can't and or won't finance you and all of your habits and everything that it is that you say that you want but not need. Medium earners of Black females, we went over this number, 35. 40,000 for men. This is the one I wanted to look at. So this is a graph between 1967 and 2018. And everything is broken down. The yellow is the Black people that make over $200,000 a year, is literally from 0 to 3%. Upper middle income, 150K to 2,000. That's 0 to 4%. Middle class. Okay, so middle class men are being shunned by working class to middle class women. And if we are honest, if you're making $35,000 a year, you miss a week from work from your kids being sick, your menstrual cycle, you not feeling good, that puts you down to working class and poor. I tell people all the time, you're one client away, one accident away, one illness, one death away from being poor. We are all, or all have been at a point at once upon a time. And if you have not, all praises be to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And even if you have struggled, even if you are currently going through a struggle, we are all one life circumstance away from losing it all. But how dare Black women say that there are no qualified Black men because of the amount of money that Black women feel as if Black men need to make in order to qualify for piss poor attitudes and behavior that leads with masculine mindsets that would dare compare your income to his in the first place. So with that being said, this is Jacolia of Jacolia Gems. I will be coming back with another video very shortly to talk about why the standard of a man for a woman is different from what the standard of a woman is for another woman, and for what it is that she should hold herself to. Because they tired of the money talk. They tired of the money talk. With that being said, I'm signing off. You guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's talk about this. Let's start some healing in the mind of these Black women and bring them down to earth, to reality. Too many fine Black single men out here that really want to get married. And we're going to talk about that soon. Signing off. Talk to y'all later.